Philippinata and warm Pacific greetings. I am here at Nandi International Airport, ready to fly out to Belém, Brazil. You might be wondering why Brazil? Well, I'm heading there to cover COP30 hosted in Belém, the city at the heart of the Amazon. As your Pacific correspondent, I'll be bringing you stories, updates, and behind the scenes moments from the mobilization efforts to what our Pacific delegates are doing on the ground and the realities they face in what often feels like a David and Goliath scenario on a global stage. This year's COP is an especially exciting one for the Pacific. It follows the International Court of Justice's advisory opinion, which affirmed that every country has a responsibility to act on climate change, recognizing that the law of the sea, customary law, and human rights are deeply interconnected. And that's huge for us in the Pacific because climate change isn't theoretical here. It affects our people's basic human rights every single day. From flooding, droughts, and the loss of land and traditional sites to threats to our agriculture, fisheries, and ocean resources. And so, once again, the Pacific will be calling on high emitting countries to take real accountability, to phase out fossil fuels, and to finance the loss and damage caused by their emissions. The 1.5 degrees Celsius goals remains our red line. It is very much alive and more critical than ever. But the latest UN Environmental Programme Emissions Gap Report 2025 paints a very grim picture. The world is currently on track for 2.3 degrees Celsius to 2.5 degrees Celsius of warming. As Dr. Sindra Sharma, Pickens International Policy Lead and a familiar face in COP negotiation puts it, for the Pacific, the painful truth is that global emissions are nowhere near what's needed to keep our island safe. This is not just a policy failure, it is a death sentence. So this year, COP returns to the birthplace of the Rio Convention in Brazil. The Amazon, known as the lungs of the earth, will host the world's most crucial climate talks. And the Pacific arrives armed with the ICJ ruling, a renewed sense of justice, and high hopes that this implementation COP will finally turn promises into real action. There's also a lot of buzz about who will host COP31 next year. Turkey is still in the running, while Australia, with strong Pacific backing, continues to push its speed. According to Vanuatu's climate change minister, Honorable Ralph Regenbanu, attempts to hold talks with Turkey during the UN General Assembly were blocked, with only Australia allowed in the room, showing how tense these negotiations still are. So the final decisions remains in limbo, but one thing is certain, the Pacific voices will be loud, united, and impossible to ignore in Belém. This is Sera Sefeti, and I'll be sharing updates from COP30. Stay tuned. Vinaka and Madamanda.